Do you have a question, sir?
Brad Davis for 613 Hours in Court. Just a quick comment. You have a website. It seems to me that not many people can come to the township meetings. Obviously, you couldn't pull all the township people here. It's impossible. So why not put your own website out with videotape the meetings and put it on there for the benefit of all the residents so they can see what is going on in our township? Many people would love to know what's going on. They just don't have the time or whatever. It might be very informative for them.
Point well taken. Thank you, sir. Anybody else?
Donna Zuba, 7665 Rutherford.
Go ahead.
In the ordinance, it states that this also includes cellular. Well, when we first came in, we talked about, you guys were talking about the Phillies. I noticed the majority of this table has cellular phones. How are we going to check cellular phones? Is the township clerk going to see if someone is audio taping the meeting? Are we all going to have to turn on our cell phones before the meeting and pick them up at the end? And if someone records on a cellular phone, are they going to then have to turn over to Jean their cell phone at the end of the meeting? I know most of us don't have a duplication of a SIM card for our phones, so I don't think anybody can be without a SIM card for more than an hour in today's society. And then we also have a liability issue as far as the township clerk having it. He's then going to be responsible for my personal SIM card, and if any of that information that is outside of the public meeting is leaked, my phone numbers, whatever, or my cellular phone, what's that open up for the township? If my SIM card gets destroyed accidentally up here, what does that open up to the township?
This is one of the valid points that Joanne Young brought up. We'll look into that. Maybe the best thing, and I violated my own policy, is everybody please turn off your cell phones for the meeting. I usually announce that, and we don't. And Gene, do me a favor as the clerk, right after the Senator Byron M. Bear open public meeting, put a pin in there, turn the cell phones off, and and that's that. Obviously, there's some things, good points being brought out, and do you have anything else, Mrs. Zuber?
No.
In reference to that? Okay. Anybody else from the public? Yes, sir.
A couple of things, actually.
The name and address, please.
Lonnie Monaco, 2118 Homestead Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
One has to do with, I guess, the question of the fire department. Last year, as we were going through...
Is this in reference to videotaping?
No.
Okay.
Supervision.
Is this under...
It's under public comment.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
As part of the closure of the Highland Fire Station last year,
Mhm.
you were deputy mayor then, Mr. Gillian, and I think part of the solution that you had put forth was to talk with the fire chief, and I guess it's now Chief Colombo, about instituting a fire station that would be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I remember at the time you had mentioned the need to speak with the union. Was that maybe a union issue? And I wasn't sure if, I think you had said 2012, 2013, maybe when their contract was coming up again. I forget what the details were exactly. But my general question is, what's the status of that? Are we any closer to having a fire station that's owned or operated 24/7?
It's that what you're talking about was one of the possible remedies of closing the Highland. One of the suggestions was, or possible remedies was, having one of the stations opened up in the center of town, having one platoon of 4 people on there, so we have 24-hour coverage. Okay, we did talk about that. That is still something that can be done. Okay, that's something that contractually we'll have to modify with the contract with the guys. But as we went on and monitoring how we are covering things with the town, okay, knock on wood, and I don't want to jinx anything, we've been working out very well. Our volunteer presence after hours, after 6 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning, has been phenomenal. We're really doing good. At the time when we discussed that, we weren't sure, and we couldn't guarantee. That was part of the discussion we have. We can't force volunteers to come out. So if volunteers didn't come out and we didn't have enough coverage, we're really going to have to push for that 24 hour coverage with paid people. Since our volunteers are doing a tremendous job, since the stations are covering for one another, since our mutual aid with other towns is working out great, and theirs is working out good with us, we're leaving it the status quo. Basically, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But it's something that they know, that if our volunteerism comes down, we don't get enough numbers on a consistent basis, from that 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., that we're going to have to really push to institute that. Is that precluding us from doing it now? No, but quite frankly, things have been working really well.
You got the coverage.
Yeah, got the coverage, and that's the main thing. Okay?
Okay, so there is no plan, there's nothing moving forward to retrofit a specific station where you would have bunk beds and showers and,
No, there is a concept about that. There is doing that, and I don't want to say there's not a plan, because moving forward, we are going to do things with stations, certain stations, and things as they come available. Certain money plays into it. Money played into it before. We've been very successful in getting grants in other areas when they come available. Hopefully, but there could be on the horizon, once we can get the financing and whatnot, is to have a fire station. We're going to go from 6 to 3, one north, one in the center, and one south. That is the plan. We talked about that, and as soon as we can get some financing and open up a place where it has showers, pumps, this, that, whatever, that will be happening. That will be happening. Whether volunteerism is up or down or this, that, whatever, if it's down, it's going to push the issue more, but things have been going good, and so it really hasn't been. Plus, we don't have any extra money to implement that at this point. And we didn't make any guarantees or any promises that that would happen. That is still on the agenda. We talked to Chief Palumbo, looking at that, tweaking that. There might be some modifications in other areas, shared services, or combining of departments that we might be able to do that in the future. So, until
But
there's
it's very
things happen.
important, Lonnie. We have been blessed with a tremendous crew of volunteers. And what Jack is talking about is very important. We have 24/7 coverage, and have had 24/7 coverage because of the volunteers, which is pretty significant savings for the town. And have had that since the discussions a year ago.
We had it
you
before.
have it in theory, but you don't have it in practice. I mean, theoretically, if the volunteers didn't show up at any given fire, any given notice that there was a fire,
Mhm.
all of a sudden, whereas if you
Excuse
had...
me, I got to ask you a question. You said we have it in theory, we don't have it in practice?
Well, that's what I think I'm understanding. There is no building where you have firemen on the job 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mhm.
Right, that's right. So that's what I mean. So it's not, it doesn't practically exist.
No,
It theoretically exists because we have great volunteers. Right? I mean, it comes a time of the day after 6 o'clock, there's nobody, I think, right, in various fire stations.
Us
And they only-
and 3/4 of the United States of America are in that situation, okay? Only the big cities, okay, have full-time fire personnel on station, being paid, okay? Philadelphia, Camden, New York, this, that, whatever. But 3/4 of the country, Lonnie, are in the same boat that we are. Combination volunteer and paid guys, okay, or girls. I don't want to exclude the women,
Yeah.
because we do have very good, capable women working with us. But the bottom line there, we're all going through this transition. We really, really are. As older buildings, this, that, whatever, are needed for modified, the township administrator, how many discussions have we talked about? Looking at buildings, looking at property that we could purchase so we could build the station and do this and combine 2 of the stations into one, okay? It's ongoing, talking about it along with every other financial and difficult thing that we have to deal with being on township committee here, okay? But my point being here is, in practice, okay, in practice, when we have a fire, and we have the stats to back it up, we have a full complement plus of people there to fight those fires. Once in a and if we can't supply those people, we have mutual aid from other towns backing us up, as we back up other towns on a consistent basis. We're really, really lucky, and I'm not going to table because every time you start talking about how good things are, you know, Murphy's Law comes in and kicks you in the pants. But I just hope it continues, and I hope we can get to the point, but, you know, we're talking about modifications, cutbacks, this, that, whatever. I don't see us increasing our fire department right now. We don't have the money to maintain the services and things that we have now with the 2% cap. We got by it this year. We're already making plans for next year. How are we going to make our nut to pay all these people? We don't want to lay anybody off, but, you know, I don't see how we can add anybody right now. Regionalization of the fire department, police department, he's on the committee about regionalization about the fire department, okay? And we're monitoring regionalization of the police department, but I'll tell you what, they got to prove to us that they're going to do a job as good as up, if not better, before this town jumps on board with that for the safety of you and everybody else in this room and their families. So, okay? I hope it answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's still something that's out there. A follow-up question?
Go ahead.
Different topic. I wanted to thank Gene. I got a copy of the master plan.
Good.
I assume everybody here at the table has read this plan? Yes? It's from
Yes.
1998.
Yes.
So they probably haven't read it recently.
Well, okay, but you've read, well, it's been out there for 13 years. Unfortunately, it's supposed to be updated every 6 years. So there's 2 updates that you've missed. I want to know, how do you go from accepting this document to implementing what's in here? What's that process? I know there's probably some kind of interaction with the planning board, the zoning board, you folks, but can somebody explain to me how that all works? Because I certainly want to follow up on this. This is actually a very good document.